All right, now am a big fan of the American Airborne. I have one of the old companies that came in a box, so I'm really excited about what's happening in the next couple months where Nuts and Market Garden are going to come out. So there's a lot of Airborne, pretty much everything Airborne. The rest of the Airborne stuff is coming in for the most part. I wanted to compare the old Hell's Highway book with the D-Day books, and I'm going to assume that the point costs are going to be about what is in D-Day. I can't imagine them changing too much. They revised them from these books, and even though this is version 2, I think the other books will probably be about this. So let's compare the two things. In the old book, the headquarters was 30 points, and the full platoon was 255. Over here, 30 points for the headquarters, same thing, 265. So that's 10 points more. And for the lower one, it's 205, where the old one is 195. So the American infantry actually went up. I don't know what the reason for that, but here's where it balances out. And as you see, it's falling apart on me, this book. But the machine gun platoon is 200 and 105, and over here in D-Day, it's 170 and 100. That's a big price break, but you're not going to have as many of these as the combat platoon, so that kind of worries me. That, if they're going to allow you to use the old books, I think I'm going to go with the old books. So you have here 125 for the new book, and then for the mortars, same thing, 135. So you get a point break. So let's say you take two 3 squad platoons, and so one section of light machine guns, which is probably what you take, and then 2 sections here. So on this one, it would be 240 for the weapons. Okay, and then you're paying 10 points more here. 2 points or 10 points here, so that you save on the old book. I'm sorry, I got myself all mixed up. And you save the 10 points here and 30 points there. So this would actually, if you take the machine guns, you take the mortars, you're going to make up for the 20 points that you lost here just on the machine guns alone, which you're probably going to take. So maybe, I guess I take that back. I mean, if you take 3 platoons and you start loading up on these guys, let me take a look at 30 points per squad for the extra guy, 30 points per squad. Okay, so it's just really 10 points more for your platoons, and then you're going to get a 30-point break and a 10-point break. So if you take the mortars and the platoons, you're actually going to be ahead of the game by 20 points. Not a big deal, not a big difference, but it's strange how they flip-flopped on that. So you're going to probably pay a little bit less on the new Market Garden with these point total costs, and something that I'm worried about. They said that they're going to take these 2 books, A Bridge Too Far and Hell's Highway, 2, I believe, 80-page books, and turn them into 2 220-point books. I have no idea what they're going to put in there. I mean, they're going to have to probably break down every one. But for somebody who's into American Airborne, I can't see them making that many lists. I expect a parachute rifle company and a glider company, maybe some sort of recon. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with the American Airborne, but it can't be too many variations. So I'm expecting a lot of British. British have gotten no love in the past couple of books. Americans got a lot of stuff. Germans got a lot of stuff. Russians got a lot of stuff. So the British are probably going to get a ton of stuff in the Operation Market Garden. So my hopes aren't too high for the Americans in that particular book. The British, I expect, are going to get a ton of stuff, and the Germans, I think, are going to get a ton. They only have 4 lists in these 2 books, and to make it into a 220-point book, that's going to be quite an undertaking. So let's take a look quickly at the British Airborne. Now their prices are pretty much in reverse of the Americans. 65 points in the old book for the headquarters, 60 points here. For the air landing, that's the air landing. Let me get to the Airborne. Excuse me. Thought I had the right page. Okay, 65 points, which is what it was before. And 230. 230 in the new book. So nothing has changed there. And then we have the mortar platoon, where you get about a 10-point break in the new book. The machine gun platoon, 160, now 150. So the British pretty much stay the same with the infantry. Then the support gets a price break in the new books. So I expect to see pretty much the same as what you see here in D-Day for the 1st Airborne Division, with different options, of course. So as far as the Airborne, I don't know how much more they can change it up. Maybe taking a special part, the part, I can't remember exactly what it was, but the part of the British First that made it to Arnhem Bridge, maybe they gave them a special list. They're going to have to be real specific with their divisions, with the individual units. I can't imagine what they could possibly have put in there. So part of me is skeptical, being an American player, that there's not going to be much there for me. And part of me is pretty excited that they're really going to break down these units and not leave them as general lists. So we'll see. Okay, continuing with the Operation Market Garden, looking at the 6th Fallschirmjäger Regiment and the 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division. Basically looking at the regiment, the 6th Regiment, to compare it to the 2nd Fallschirmjäger Division in D-Day, and see what kind of price differences and the options. The reason why I chose this and not the 1st Fallschirmjäger from Casino is because they have similar Panzerfaust options. So it's more of an apples to apples. Even though they're all Fallschirmjägers, these are the closest to the points. So the old points, you talk about that the headquarters stays at 55, but then you've got 250, and the new list goes up to 265. So like the Americans, the combat goes up. However, if you go into the weapons, this is where you start saving your points. It's 170, and the new one is 150. The mortar platoon is 125, and the old one is 140. So you're making up points. As long as you take your support platoons, you're going to be saving on the old, on the new book, and this is what I expect that Operation Market Garden point cost will probably get into.